And we are live. What's good, Josh? Your man, DL Saint. Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast late night edition. Y'all know I don't do this too often. Man, but I'm collabing with the West Coast today. And y'all know Uncle Saint ain't been sleeping, so I'm up anyway, so I might as well be working, right? And I know Miss AKA Lady is in the building. She's up late burning the midnight oil. I see you. What's good, shorty? Yeah, perfectly timed, burn the midnight oil. I needed something, LOL. Let's do this. And yes, we are. We're about to make this happen. I hope some more people jump on. I hope other folks jump on. It'll be kind of cool. I'm checking the audio right now. See if we got our sound effects, and we do. All right, everything. Looks like we're gonna rock with it. Brother Michael's in the house. What's good? Uncle DL, hey yo, Mike, man. People have been calling for another show on Cologne, bro. So we might have to put another show together on Cologne. So get ready, bro. I know you the man when it comes to the smell good, bro. So get ready. We'll probably do another one of those shows before the summer is over. So y'all know that I'm a retired air traffic controller, but I was also out there in the real world doing stand-up comedy. Stand-up controller by day, comedian at night. And not only was I on stage as a stand-up comedian, but I also got into the world of production. Like I would get in and produce rooms, and I would actually produce the shows and book the comics and work with management or the owners or whatever. And man, I really love putting together good shows. So there was a crew of us that kind of started around the same time. We all just kind of, began to coalesce around each other, man, like our own little universe. And one of the dudes in my crew, one of the solid brothers, one of the few who were like me, same, just out here making it happen. We have similar backgrounds. We're both from the Midwest. We both wound up in LA. We both have a love for stand-up. And we took two different paths. And I was able to catch up with my brother, and he's here today, y'all. So I just want to introduce y'all into the one, not only Doc Willis in the building. What's good, bro?
Hey, what up? Good, dude. How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm doing all right, bro. I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. I know you working hard, and it's just people don't understand how hard everybody works in LA. Not just when it's like you're out there trying to make it, and you're doing everything you can do to keep yourself afloat. And then when you make it, you start working even harder, like when Hollywood hits and stuff like that, bro. So
right.
I'm just glad you could be here, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here and happy to see you, dog. It's been a minute.
It's been too long, man. I had to leave West Coast, man. It got too rough for me, bro. I had to go.
Why? What was it that made you just be like, because you'd be back and forth like that. You'd be like here, and then you go back, then you come back again, then you go back. Well, your daughter's here, so you always been a good father to your daughter. So I understand that. But on the comedy tip, I always like, why you keep leaving?
I tell you why. California is too expensive. LA is too expensive. So I was always trying to get away from that. As an air traffic controller, I made great money, but I spent so much money just trying to maintain. So the amount of money I spent to have my life was way cheaper anywhere else in the country. And the money stayed the same. So when I left in 2009 to Miami, I really didn't plan on coming back other than to visit or whatever. And the way my career worked out, I wind up going back to the West Coast, was going to San Diego, then back to LA, and then I just retired. So once I got the opportunity to retire, I was like, that's it. I cut the strings, and I'm going to Florida. I have family here in Tampa. My daughter's here with me. Like I brought my daughter. My daughter's mom agreed to come. So it was a situation where we could co-parent out here, and it's really working.
She out there now?
Yeah, my daughter came with me. Even that time I went to Miami, I got my daughter eventually to Miami with me. So my thing is, I'm always gonna have my, I gotta have that. You gotta have my family with me. Right. So, and then of course circumstances arose that we had to go back. So we all went back as a team. And I didn't like that move. And I'm like, hey, first chance I'm out of here. So I've always been like that. But now that I'm here in Tampa, man, I'm just chilling. And you'll definitely see me in LA again, especially you were telling me how the comedy scene is starting to amp up a little bit. It sounds like it's getting a little better, man. More clubs are sprouting up and stuff like that. So I'm like, I definitely might have to get out there. Plus, all our people out there, shout out Brett, Ernst, Sam Tripley, You know, Maj Jabrani. I'll be here for 50 minutes if I tried to sit here, be an hour trying to name
Yeah,
everybody. Shout out to my man Ty.
Man, you be having everybody like, what the fuck?
Right. You know, shout out to Ty Barnett, like my guy.
Hey, TB.
Right. You know what I'm saying? My guy, he's still out there. Candace. I'll tell people this, man, and we'll start here, and then I'm gonna ask you to introduce yourself to everyone, because for people who don't know who you are. But I tell folks all the time, we talk about female comics and we talk about the disparity and all that kind of stuff. You know, two things about female comedy. You know, they're like, well, most women ain't funny. I'm like, well, most dudes ain't funny. I think the percentage of funny is the same. It doesn't matter what gender you are. You know what I mean? And there are some people out there who are just funny, period. I think Candace Thompson is one of those people. What do you think about her, bro?
Candace is when Candace, before Candace got passed as the paid regular, you know, I used to do the open mic list, so I used to put her on a mic list at the Comedy Store. So, you know, we go back that far to where it's like, you know, she always had it. She was always very intelligent with her comedy, and you know, to me, it was a no-brainer. It was like, nah, you know, I got to make sure. So whenever she hit me up, okay, I got you. I put her on the list. So I did that for like a lot of different people, from Tony Baker to Jamar, everybody, Rail Battle. I was just, whoever was funny. You know, it was funny. I had forgot. Whitney Cummings came to me and she was like, you know, I just want to thank you for putting me up in the open mic list when you were. And I was like, oh, yeah. I said, damn, I've been putting up so many people who I thought was just funny that I just was like, you know, shit, you was just funny. I was like, fuck, that's like, oh, this shit funny, you know. So, and Tommy instantly gravitated to her, of course. And, you know, she became who she is today. So it's, you know, I never like say women are not funny. Man, this shit is stupid.
Right. Funny is funny. Female or male, you're just funny. You know what I mean? If either you got it or you don't. It doesn't matter what, you know, it is what it is. And I always point to Candace as like, bro, y'all need to see her. She's never failed to make me laugh out loud. That's hard to do, especially in the comedy, because we've been around that so long. So I kind of did this backwards. I don't like to, you know, ask people to tell the world who they are, man. So let me give you the one shot, put you up here so you can tell everybody in the world who you are, brother.
My name is Doc Willis. I used to be a serial killer, and I changed. No, you know, I'm a comedian. Been out here in LA. Moved out here in 2000. I've been out here almost for 23 years now, and it's been a great ride for me, man. I've been enjoying myself. Been in a few movies you can check out. Well, not a few movies, but I was on Netflix. Handsome, a detective story. It's a murder mystery. You can check that out with Jeff Garland from Curb Your Enthusiasm and the Goldbergs. I did a cartoon with Tyler, the Creator, called The Jellies. You might have seen it, and you might see it on, I think it's still on a few platforms, Hulu, HBO Max, bunch of different things. I've been on different podcasts, from Joey Diaz, Church of Happening Now, Bad Friends with Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino, Skeptic Tank with Ari Shafir. I've been on Candace Thompson's in them podcasts. I forgot the goddamn name of it. Sorry, Candace. I don't want you fucking calling me like I did, you motherfucker. So pretty much that's about it, man. I don't want to be going down there.
See, that's what's up, though. Yeah, and it's so many. And it's funny because people, you know, we talk to folks about the world, and they hear stuff like that, like, wow, Whitney Cummings, like, yeah, bro, Whitney Cummings, she was out there in the trenches just like the rest of us, man. That was, you know, and I can't hate on Whitney at all, because I know how hard she worked, and I'm pretty sure she's working even harder now. But I remember how hard she worked when we were just out there coming up, doing all of the shit rooms.
Like people. She's one of those people who, I'll put it to you like this. This is how she moves. I ain't gonna say names, but one of the stars was talking to me at the Comedy Store, and he's like, you know, man, I really thought I had a real friend when I met Whitney. And I was sitting there listening. I said, okay. And he's like, but man, as soon as she got to my contacts and everything, she was gone. She fucking when he was business, she wasn't trying to be fucking everybody. Soon as she got cool with whoever, all right, talk to you later. It was just like, God. So she networked her way and moved around like that. And and people don't understand, like, and she was, with her being as pretty as she is, everybody wants to be her goddamn friend, especially men. But I wasn't mad. I was just like, man, that's the game, man. It's not even, it's the business, and she's very savvy about her business, and she don't fuck around, man. Whitney is straight to the point.
Straight to the point. And when she got her opportunity, she was able to make it happen because she has the talent. She's a hell of a writer. You know what I mean? She's a solid comedian, right? And she knows how to get things done. So, like, you hear what Brother Doc just said, man. It's about the game. It's the game on so many levels. It's that game we talk about over here all the time. We talk about relationships and all that. These dudes out here want to lead with their wallet. These dudes out here in LA, they want to lead with their connections. They want to lead with who they know. They want to lead with their credits.
Right.
And like Whitney fine today. And just imagine, 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah, like, she was like, and it's rare for somebody, like, despite what anybody have to say, dog, I'm telling you, man, she's one of the people. There's like 4 to 5 people that nobody knew that just made me laugh hard in the OR. That's a dude named Yorsi Thomas.
Yeah, he goes, yeah.
I'm talking about before Whitney got Sam Tripoli.
Caparillo got to be on that list.
Caparillo and Whitney Cummings. Man, I'm telling one time in the OR, she was lighting that motherfucker up so bad, man. I said, what the fuck? Like, but she was freestyling. So she was just going off the dome and talking to these people from Australia and had the whole room. I said, God, I ain't never seen Whitney do it like this. That shit is, man, it's great to experience and being in a comedy store and seeing the different levels of comedians, because I didn't see them all. So I put her right, I ain't gonna say right next to Chappelle and them or nothing like that, but I'm just saying she's one of the top female comedians that came up in the store. And, but then Leslie Jones, I forgot to even mention how she used to rip that man.
But Big Les a OG though. Like Big Les, she didn't come up with us. Big Les been established. It took her a long time to get that overnight success. Everybody be talking about Big Les and then like the Ghostbusters. Oh, overnight success. Like, man, she been 20 years plus in the game.
When I get famous, they gonna do that. This nigga, I'm like, man, I'm out here in these trenches, dog. This motherfuckers, man, they be hating on you.
That's how Hollywood do you, bro. They don't know you till they know you. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. And
well, people don't know you, so people just I don't trip on regular people. But Hollywood is like, they are who they are, man. And you just go, okay, this is what y'all doing. All right. So you just gotta understand it's all about time. It has nothing. When people truly understand that, the concept of time, they'll be a lot more comfortable and a lot less. I'm gonna say less stress. A lot less stress. It's just I feel like everybody's overwhelmed with all the different approaches that everybody do, and they try to do them all. Everybody try to do everything everybody else is doing, and the people that pop are the people that wasn't doing it.
Facts. The people that pop are the people that.
I don't know if you remember when Cat Williams had the casino over there in Hollywood. He was hosting over there, doing his show. Well, not hosting, but and then remember when Kevin Hart used to sit in the back of the Comedy Store because they wouldn't put him up, and it's fucking crazy to see what happens to people, and for me to be at the store and just see it all. It's just like what,
Yeah, I remember doing Ha Ha Cafe. And I rolled in there. It wasn't an open mic. It was a point where I was starting to know folks, so people invite me over. I was doing Ha Ha Cafe, and I'm there talking to this Asian dude, right? And we're chopping it up, and I'm like, yeah, man, they say you're a doctor. He's like, yeah, I'm a surgeon. I work over here. I'm like, yo, I'm an air traffic controller. I walk over here, and we're going back and forth. It was Dr. Ken, bro. It was Dr. Ken.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? Like you said, you give it enough time, boom, there he is. Hollywood A-lister, like, yo, that's bro right there. You know what I mean? And it was, again, people like get the number in your pocket. I remember, before the first season of Last Comic Standing, Me and Doc knew every comic for the first 3 seasons on that show.
Oh yeah. We so did.
Think about
I
it.
went to an audition and they ain't accept me. Fuck them niggas.
I said, "Oh, be mad." I never went to audition. I didn't want to play with it, and I didn't want to.
Down in San Diego because everybody was going down. Everybody was going. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna go with y'all. And then I did mine. I made it past the first part, and then they didn't make it the second. And I was like, fuck everybody.
I didn't go. I didn't want to have to deal with the FAA. Like I was at time of federal, employee. I didn't want to deal with the FAA and then be trying to deal with Hollywood at the same time. I just didn't want to do it. Well, you can't as a federal employee. They can tell you what you can and can't do away from the job. So you have to do paperwork in order to do certain things. So they don't care if I'm out just doing. Yeah, even comedy, bro. Because I was a government employee. So what I did, what I said reflected upon the United States government. So they're going to look at it, you know what I mean? And they will say, well, we don't like this, or we don't want you to do this or that. We don't like the fact that you use these words, you're cursing. We don't like the fact that you're talking about little kids or whatever it is I might be talking about that they don't like. So they can tell you can't do it, or they can say, we'll accept your resignation. And you have to go through a process. You have to basically get permission. So I'm like, all right, yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do this. It's quiet. No one that I worked with knew what I was doing. And I wanted it that way. And then the comics didn't know I was an air traffic controller. So I wanted it that way. So, but yeah, stuff like that. I'm like, nah, I'm not even gonna do it. I can't tell you how many times I've turned down auditions for features and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do it because I'm gonna have to go back to the FAA and get permission and fill out all these papers and do all this stuff. Like, I don't want to do it.
Like, are you talking about for acting?
Yeah, I turned down a lot of stuff for acting. I turned out a lot of stuff, bro. Yeah. Like, I don't want to do it. It's just too much of a headache. Now, if it's just a small, I know Sam Tripley hit me up one day. He was filming. He was like, hey, man, can you come over here and play a DJ? I need you to do play. I was like, okay, I'll do that. Or I have some friends hit me up to do some short or something. But if it's like real, like, okay, this is going to be SAG and all that. Yeah, like I can't do it. Yeah. I didn't want to do it, man.
That's so drama, man. Yeah.
Right. And my thing is, I'm eating. I'm good. Like, comedy's always been a passion, but I'm like, man, I'm eating. I'm good. I don't want to mess that up. We old school, bro. Like, once you really get the way you want to be, you ain't trying to rock the boat. Like, I'm certainly not trying to lose this. I'm certainly not trying to get out there and like really do this for real. I was talking to I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. But it was one that he was real cool with Aaron Cater and them, man. I just can't remember his name right now. It'll come to me. And he was on the Daily Show at one point.
Roy Wood Jr.?
Man, he's like a white, not a white guy, but he's like I forget his name. Like, it was him, Aaron Cater. Nope, it'll come to him. And when I think of it, you'll be like, oh, it'll come. I'm gonna look it up in a second. So I was asking him, hey man, if I was gonna do this, what should I do? And he was like, you need to quit your job. You're like, whatever your job is, if you really want to be successful in this business, you need to cut any safety net you have. You need to put yourself in a position where you have to be successful at comedy. That's the only way you're gonna do it. And yeah, he was cool with oh man, let me look him up, man, because he was cool with Mozzie and them. At one point, I think he was part of the Axis of Evil show.
Because it was Bobby, Ahmed, Aaron, and Maz. Who else?
Aaron Cater, Ahmad. It was. I'll find him. And
he was on the Daily Show.
Yeah, he was on the Daily Show. Got it. Yeah, as one of the correspondents. Had a lot of Magical. That's what I'm thinking of. Magical.
Okay. Yeah.
See, we know all the same people, man. It just I done burned more brain cells than Doc. I got less brain cells remaining. But nah, Al Magical told me, like, if you're gonna do this for real, if you really want to do this, you gotta resign from what you're doing and just make this the only thing. Now, I didn't have any kids or anything like that, but boy, I enjoy making money. So I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know about leaving what I'm doing.
Yeah, that is facts. But the flip side to it is like, look at Al, right? He's got 2, 3 comedy specials. Nobody knows him.
Yeah, and before that, he had some TV shows. Like Al was,
So it just goes to show you that you can make money. You know what I'm saying? And Al, you have to remember a big bulk of their money come from writing too. Al was a writer for shows, and a lot of these guys they have another avenue to bring in the income. See, so when people tell you that they can say that shit, but I'd be like, but how you gonna eat? How are you gonna get from point A to point B? If the clubs, they either gonna like you or they not. We just sat here and talk about Cat and Kevin Hart. They didn't like them. So here in Cali, so they did their own thing, and now they the biggest out of everybody. It just blows my mind just to even see that. I'm like, what? How? Like this game is anybody's game. Is just time. Time is not in anybody's control. So you just keep doing it the way you do it, how you want to do it, and tell everybody else shut the fuck up.
For real. That's how that went down too. And Miss AKA lady in the chat, she was asking, like, did you ever have plans of going full-time comedy? I'm like, and my answer was nope, never. You know what I mean? But I had so much fun doing what I was doing, getting to the point where I was, I was the go-to guy if you wanted to start a room, because I didn't want a room just so I can build up my routine and just make people suffer through 2 hours of the most horrific comedy ever so I can build up 8 minutes. No, I wanted a room that was going to be best for comedy. It's going to be the best experience for the owners, for the comics, and for the customers who come to consume the product. And that was my goal. And I ran some, if I do say so myself, man, I ran some good rooms. And I still do to this day. I still put stuff together. I'm still out there networking. I'm still trying to bring it together, man. I love doing it. But your story was different. Like, you came out, you're like, yo, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to make it. So when you first got here, man, tell us that story, bro. Like, what did you just start doing open mics, or did you already have a connect prior to coming out here? What did you do?
I didn't have anything. I just moved. Only thing I had was a job lined up. I was working with the Ford dealership with the mechanics for about 13 years. So I had that and I worked that, and I was kind of like scared to do, not scared, but just apprehensive to do the comedy. Because, I was, at the same time, I was going through a depression. Nobody knew. Y'all didn't know. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't break out of my depression.
I did not know that. I did not know that, bro.
Yeah.
When I met you was dealing with depression, bro.
I was handling it, son.
For real. Cold or psychotic, one or the other. So, like, I didn't.
Yeah, man. I was just like, so I had to, like, fight through that. And I started breaking out of it in my 30s. So at the same time, I don't know if you remember too, I was going to church all the time. So I was very, very critical of myself. And I was just like, man, God ain't going to want me to do this. Man. And then I was going through what I was going through mentally with my depression of, in which stems from my father passing away when I was younger. So it was rough. But what I did, I said, you know what? I saw the Comedy Store. This girl took me up on Sunset, and I saw it, and I said, "Damn, that's what Richard and them." I said, "I gotta go to see if they got a mic there." I said, "That's the place right there." So I instantly found out they had the mics. And back in the day, remember they had a lottery when you go and sign up.
Potluck,
man, they had the potluck. So you had to reach in your hand, reach in the bucket. Hopefully you get a number. They had 20 blanks and 20 numbers in there. And when I tell you, it was like sometimes 6 weeks in a row and they ain't get a number, you like, man.
Facts.
So
and that was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday back then. Remember that? It was 3 days.
Man, 3 of them, man. We used to, man. But nobody was there but us comics back in that day. But we, you utilize it to the best that you could. So I did that. I started slowly hitting the bars, hitting the little comedy scene. Then the Comedy Store, they thought the comics and the people was like, man, you funny. So on the low key, I ain't tell y'all, but they used to give me a number, dog. So
they used to slide you a number, you bastard.
Yeah. That's how I was getting up all the time. Everybody was like, man, he got a number every week now.
For real. I'm like, man, I do remember that. Like, Doc is one of the luckiest dudes, man. Like, every time you reach in
there. So they was like, man, you funny here. Keep so I just took the ticket and I would just fake like I'm reaching in there, and then I'll pull out number 20, and they're like, "Damn, that's like the second week in a row he got 20."
Man, that was Fat James hooking you up. God rest his soul, but Fat James was just hooking you up with the numbers. Like, here you go,
James, all of them, man. James, Jason Lucas, no, not Jason Lucas. Alex Moore, all of them. They was all like just. So every time I would go, they just say, "Make sure you get that." So I was doing that, and then I got tricked by the general manager Dean to work there because I didn't want to work at the club. I just wanted to just get better as a comedian, and I didn't want to be an employee because I had my morning job. So they was like, "Hey man, So what he did was when I would go up there, he would be like, "Hey man, can you cover this shift right quick for me?" And I said, "No, man, I got to work in the morning, man. I'm not doing that." And he's like, "Man, just help me out, Doc. I need some help with the shift, man, because one of the guys ain't show up." I was like, "All right." So I did it. Next weekend, he did it again. Then the next weekend, he tried to do it again. I said, "Hey, man," you're going to have to pay me for this, man. I'm not going to be sitting here doing this for you." And then he was like, "Yeah, Doc, we've been trying to get you work here for the longest. Welcome to the club. Come on in. I got your check inside." I said, "What the fuck?"
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. So that's how I was kind of like, I don't even know why I was kind of mad about it. I ain't even gonna lie.
Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. They got you, bro.
Yeah. I called my mom's like, "Man, this motherfucker, they did this." And I said, "I don't want to work here." She said, "Well, just try it out. You never know how it work out for you." So I just did it, and it was a blessing, man. I really, man, being
just the connects alone, bro. Like just the connect. So let's go back to the open mic, right? When we're doing the potlucks and we're out there on the patio and we're trying to get these numbers, bro. Because you were like all the comics. Well, there were comics, and then there was Gaylord Dingler, and then there was Blue Isis, right? Was it Isis Blue or Blue Isis? Blue Iris, right?
I went to see her before she passed away.
She passed too. We lost her. Oh man,
yeah, we lost her, man. Yeah, she was down on in Encino Hospital. I went down there and seen her for her last day.
I did not know that, man. You know what I'm saying?
I got there though. She was in a coma. So I just God, Blue Iris loved her, man. So it was like, she was, even though it was part of a weird eclectic group of them, she still was just like part of the store to me.
It was part of the team, it was part of the clique. See, and this is what I wanted to this is really why I wanted you on the podcast, so we can have this conversation. It is a family. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, she do porn. She used to do porn too.
Yes, I know what you're about to talk about, bro.
Oh, okay, then go ahead. We will.
I know what you're about to talk about.
Man, I got that Comedy Store, man. I'm telling you, just
so many
stories. Bro.
Those stories we're gonna save for Patreon. I'm gonna start a Patreon before the end of the year. I'm gonna start a Patreon, and I'll bring you back. And that'd be like, people gonna have to pay to hear them stories. Like, we want to get back there and hear what was really going on. But it was a family. I mean, dysfunctional family, but it was a family nonetheless, man.
Was it a mom? Pauly Shore's mother, Missy Shore. In case y'all don't know, is people see me talking?
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Damn, I didn't know that. I ain't even let me. All right, I'm looking good, dog.
Yeah, you guys, I want to do you wrong. Look, we got right here, Miss AK. Like, she like, I want to hear that story. Nope, you gonna have to wait for Patreon to hear that story. You got, or if Doc come out here and do some comedy, we set up a show and Doc come out here, maybe he'll tell you the story in the green room.
Yeah, we'll do that. You at the Tampa, you in Tampa, so the Tampa Improv out there. Maybe they'll give me a headliner gig out there one day. We'll see.
And if they do, let me know. I'll bring out the masses, bro. Keep me posted. Okay. If you do Tampa Improv, and then we'll get you.
Nigga, if I'm coming out there, regardless.
Hey, it's on. Hey, it's on. Yeah. I appreciate that, and that's how it works. And we'll also get you put on with Side Splitters. We'll get you put on with Sunrise. There's a new Sunshine City. It used to be Coconuts, called Sunshine City. Now City is in St. Pete. It's a great club. It's just that messes up. Yeah, it's a great club. Don't get me wrong. It's run by Kenny. There's a comedian out of New York. Really solid dude. I just did a weekend. Kenny Garcia.
Oh, Kenny Garcia. Yeah, you was talking to me about him the other day.
Yeah, real good, real cool dude. And then there's some spots, and there's another. There's another improv in Orlando. So if you come out here, bro, you can stretch your weekend into like a week. And hit, you could probably hit a few spots. So that's something we could talk about off camera. But
it was Simone out there too, right?
Yes, I bumped into him. Yeah, when he first got out here. When I first got out here,
he
I
was
bumped
trying
into
to
Steve
get me to
Simone.
move out there. I'm like, man, I ain't moving out there, dog.
Hey, man, like I ain't gonna lie to you. It's if you had the connects, it's locked in LA, I would say move. Come out here and you can always fly to LA, you fly to New York, but for what you're doing, you might want to stay where you are for now. But as soon as you get your connects locked in, bro, I'm telling you, Tampa ain't no joke, man. Tampa ain't no man. Central Florida pretty good. You know what I mean? And Miss AK Lee wants to know how the weekend. It went really well. Thanks, love. That we rocked it out. We do what we do. We had 2 really good shows, one on Friday, one on Saturday. And I look forward to getting back down. I might even be down there later on this week. They might need me to come, not need me, but I might have a spot, on Thursday. We'll see. So but it's like a family, bro. Like you do that, you kind of grow in there. And people don't realize it's almost kind of like high school, right? So when you start, there's normally like your class, like the people who become the real comics, they just kind of coalesce and they move up. So, I had Bill Prather was part of my class. Munch is part of my class. You know what I mean? Mark Ellis is part of my class.
Where Munch went to Atlanta.
Yeah, Mark, he's all over the place, man. I stay in touch with Munch. He's talking about coming down here. Just to hit some spots. He's on the road doing some stuff. And he got a really good gig with the union, with the Teamsters. And
Prather in Vegas, right?
Prather, I think when I last talked to Prather, he was in LA, but he had just gotten married to a real good woman who's like, he needed that, bro. He needed the guidance. So if she said go to Vegas, they went to Vegas. I believe Ernst is in Vegas. I think Caparillo's in Vegas. But they weren't part of my class. Mark Ellis is doing really good things. I think he's still out there. And Danis and O'Neal, they were part of my class. Like that was the group. Yeah, we were all going around doing that. Okay, they still writing and stuff, right?
Yeah, I did that Daddy Knows Best with them and Steve Renazizi, and Jay Catapetta. Okay. That's on YouTube too. Daddy Knows Best. I think it's on YouTube. The episode.
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna link it.
Episode number 6, I think.
Daddy Knows Best. I'm gonna find that and I'm gonna link it in the descriptions, y'all. Let me write it down before I forget.
They wrote that whole series.
You said that was episode 6?
I think so. That's the episode I was in, if I can remember.
I'll find it. That's what's up, man. So when we get into this business of stand-up, people think it's kind of like acting. And I think it's a huge difference. Like, acting, stand-up, and improv are completely different skill sets.
All 3 different facets. Different. It's stand-up is by yourself and alone. Acting and improv, you got people to support. And of course, acting is cut, redo. You mess up a joke on stage, that's your ass. It's done. It's like, oh man, when you miss that one punchline or that you stutter a little bit on that setup, you like, oh, or don't let nobody start heckling right in the middle of your joke. Come on, dude. Bro. You're like, why you can't just come to the show and just listen and laugh? But somebody always out there gotta be funny. I'm good. I'm that guy. No, you ain't. Sit down.
Sit down. You're absolutely right. And being at the Comedy Store when we came up, I keep telling folks, like, the Comedy Store now is a proper comedy venue. It's on par with Laugh Factory. It's on par with the Improvs and all that today now. But when we were coming up, bro, it was like the Fight Club, man. It was, you go in there, bro, ain't no telling what you're going to see going into that club. I mean, Doc, how many fights did you see in that joint?
Fights that I see, how many was I in?
I didn't want to push you out like
oh yeah, then we're gonna say that for another.
Yeah, we're gonna say that for the
we'll say the story. Yeah, just man, loads. I was there when that whole Carlos Mencia and Joe Rogan on stage popped off. I was there for that.
I was around. Time. I wasn't there that night, but I was there the night before, the night after.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely was around that time. Yes. Yeah, I was there trying to calm audience members, yelling at them on stage. It was just like, man, chaos.
But that Carlos Mencia thing, people ask me about that. I'm like, nah, bro was a real piece of shit. Now, I don't normally drop names, but I'll drop his, man. Like, dude was a real bad apple, bro.
Yeah, and it's such a, it's such a waste because the dude is prolific at stand-up. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no joke. And you just like, bro, just write your own stuff, and just man, he messed up his whole. He didn't mess up his whole thing because he still be touring and shit. That's one thing about it is your fans don't. That's the beautiful thing about when you take off as a stand-up. No matter what, only the people can cancel you. When people stop coming to your shows, then you got a problem. But like, remember when Louis C.K. got in trouble?
Yes.
10 months later, he went back on stage and got a standing ovation, and then Hollywood was going after. What they now here 10 months later, he gonna go back on. It was just like, hey man, Lou, he got it like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the greatest thing about stand-up comedy is your fans, man. Once they riding with you, they like, nah, man. If it ain't no crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying?
It can't be too crazy. Like what he did was crazy, but it was grown up. What he did was weird. Let's keep it 100.
That's all it is. It's just weird to be asking women that you ain't in a relationship with to jack off in front of them. That's all it was. But like he said, he told them they could leave. So they turned it into a whole power struggle, whatever it was. But it is. I know my mother wouldn't have sat there and watched no nigga jack off. I'm gonna tell you that.
No
woman. Like who would? But that's the typical Hollywood thing, though. It's always this lack of responsibility. They always
and accountability. Yep.
And accountability. Exactly. They sit back and they just try to shift the blame on somebody else instead of looking at themselves and saying, what could I have done better for the situation?
Right. Like, why did you stand there? So, again, I'm not trying to make light or trying to say what he did wasn't weird. It was weird as hell. But guess what? That's why they call it Holly weird. That's really, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's nothing compared to the shit me and Doc could tell you. We ain't gonna say it on this. We're gonna wait. We're gonna save it for the Patreon. But that's nothing.
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 This motherfucker, man, I tell you like this. Well, they see it now. First they heard about it, but now as the years didn't pass, y'all didn't see. And if you think them the only ones that you see that's getting caught from Cosby and the rest of them, man, it's tons of these motherfuckers. You just don't hear about them because they just, man, it'll collapse the whole industry probably.
It will, bro. It certainly. I mean, just peak. Wow. What was going on, and not just the Comedy Store, but all of that industry, all of Hollywood. I can't tell you how many not weird stories, but things I've seen in the club, things I've seen in the parties in the hills, things I've seen in Bel Air and Brentwood and Malibu. With because I
wouldn't do. I never go to the parties in the hills, man. Every time somebody be like, "Hey, this is how I look at parties out here." I always say to myself, "Can I invite my grandma? If she can't come, I ain't going."
I can't go, bro.
Hey, grandma can't be there. Hey, I want grandma 80 years old to be able to enjoy herself, and I'd be like, "Why is there cocaine and what's going on with all these people fucking?" You know what I mean? Like,
exactly, bro. It's
man, the stories is you hit like, especially because where we are, and then at the Comedy Store, you get firsthand information. It's like what, and that was happening. What the fuck? That's how this shit go, man.
And then you hear the stories of what goes on tour. I mean, it's just so much behind it. I mean, it's the comedy game is the crossroads for hip hop, for rock and roll, for acting, for theater. You know what I mean? For musicians who are like concert pianists. All of that intersects somehow, some way with comedy. It's the weirdest thing. It was truly the crossroads. And the stuff that I saw, it's like, whoa. And the stuff that people were willing to do for money or for a role. I mean, y'all just don't understand, man. Like
that's like one of the biggest talks at the Comedy Store. I had a dude, he said at the Comedy Store, he was like, if I'm offered the right part. He said, yeah, I'll do it. I'm cool with my sexuality. And I was like, what? Like, man, I was just like, this is not the conversation I want to have. I didn't know this. I didn't know you was like that. Like that. But you're around people and and then here's the crazy part is, this is what they don't tell you. You know how many people do that and never fucking make it? They don't even get this about, I'm telling y'all, there's about at least 500,000 dick suckers out here who never, they ain't even, not even the extra. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know. I'm like, why would you even sacrifice yourself like that? Like, what's weird? Because there's this lack of consciousness towards the reality of things. And the reality is Hollywood can't make you famous. Everybody who watching us right now on your show right now, the 2.5 people, these are the people that make that's who make you famous. That's who really make you famous. And so, like, you hear a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, marketing and advertising put into an individual who already has the skill built on top of the talent, or just the skill, does help you take you a lot further. But regardless, the people are the ones who make you what you're gonna be.
That's facts. And I apologize for the low view count, but on the East Coast, everybody's asleep. I got a lot of responsible people who watch us. So they knocked out. They'll watch it when they wake up tomorrow. In the West Coast, it is what it is, but this is gold. I'm telling you, bro. You watch, you wait and see. You're gonna be like, man, I can't believe this is gold right here. I'm so glad you're here. Ms. And like when he was talking about the people out there, you know what I mean, sucking on the joystick, he ain't talking about females, he's talking about men.
Oh, we ain't
He's talking about men or women.
Christian or what, man? We doing this Christian style? I'm sorry if I was cussing to everybody.
No. It's just YouTube. I want to go crazy with it. So I'm saving all them words for you because YouTube, okay, believe it or not, the algorithm counts how many words. Man, this YouTube game, I'm learning so much, bro. You want to talk about being like censorship? Yeah. Bobby Lee, Joe Rogan, you know, Whitney Cummings, and all the rest. They can say anything they want to say. But let me come on here with my high 1,400 subscribers and say one too many fucks. You know what I mean? And they like all over me. You really shouldn't be saying that. Man, they'll slow me down in the algorithm so fast, bro. It's YouTube is, yeah, bro.
I didn't know that fucking stuff. See, that's the thing, man. That's one thing you don't have to see. All that scrutiny goes out the door when you become your own stand-up. That's why yes. I don't like the idea of Hollywood and all the social media, the nerds having control of what I do. You know what I mean? It's irritating, bro.
And they do have control. People who don't even have the first. Now we're just talking about comedy. Like people who've never been on stage, who've never written a joke, who's never been successful. You know what I mean? Not to you know, dump on Jamie at the Laugh Factory, but that guy's a failed comic. But he's a gatekeeper. You got to go through him if he's still around. I don't know what the situation is, but yeah, you got to go through him. And what's the first thing he'll say? He sees you got some talent. Well, you know, once you sign with my agency, then I can let you get some more time. He was like, bro, how about you just let me rock the crowd out so we can help you make money? Why you got to sign me? I don't want to be, you're going to tie yourself to me. So when I really make it, now I got to buy you out so I get a proper manager. I don't like people like that, bro.
I don't, man, me personally, I feel like the manager game is a robbery game. You know, and I took this acting class, even though I don't need it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gifted. But I took it anyway. But
because you have to. They make you do it.
I took it, and this particular class, they used to bring in all these different producers and different big time directors or agents and casting directors. And one of them that they brought in was Fern Champion, Aaron Spelling's old casting director. And at the end of the class, she asked everybody, she said, how many people got an agent? Raise your hand. She said, okay. How many people got a manager? Raise your hand. And she said, how many people have both an agent and a manager? And then there was a few people that did. And she said, why do you have both? You only need one or the other. Now, it's a little tricky with that because agents really only supposed to get you work and managers don't. But managers be doing that shit. You know, goddamn, where you get the right manager like a Dave Becky or, you know, just to name one. They got the plug. You don't really need. They can get that work for you too. But she said, and then she said this. She said, and to be honest with you, if you can get yourself hot, you don't need neither one of them. And I said, oh,
that's the sauce right there. If you can get yourself hot, you don't, so you can just save all that 20, 25%. You just keep it.
Keep it. Because you got to think you're paying 20, you're paying 10 for an agent, you're paying 15 or 20 for a
manager,
and you're paying 30, 35, 40% in taxes. All your money is just, that's why a lot of the stars go broke. Like stars from like co-stars from sitcoms and stuff like that. That money be going to them, man. I get if they picked you up from the beginning, but you know how it is, dog. Most of these people, they don't pick you up until they hear you start getting hot.
Right.
So the best thing for an agent, like I got my acting agent and stuff like that. But if I can get myself out here as a stand-up, bro, man, shit, I don't want no manager or no agent. I don't know what I need them for. All you got to do is hit the venue up, send the contract, write it up, boom, you done. That's what I did with Levity. Contract signed, bang, bang, and I did the improv. So if you can continue to book like that and get yourself high, you don't need no agent or no manager. The only reason you want an agent or a manager for acting is for acting. Because then when people want you to be in projects and stuff like that, you be like, hey, go talk to my agent. Your agent is handle all
paperwork involved too. That means it's so much paperwork involved, and now you're dealing with the unions and there's all. You better have the right agency, the right behind you.
Bro, just one story. Let me tell this one.
Go ahead.
Man, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio used to come to the Comedy Store, right?
Yes,
bro. Leo, when I tell you that nigga's agent does all the talking, he drives them. It's like he's a chauffeur, everything. I'm like, God damn, he making him work for this fucking money. And he's like, okay, let me talk to the manager. Then he turns over to Leo. And then like I'm like, Leo's right there. And Leo just sitting there like this, dog. and the manager's like, okay, and then talking. I'm like, what fucking guy is standing right next to him? But he's just turning back to him. Oh, okay. And then he's like, I'm like, fucking hilarious. But if I'm making 20, well, he made more than that, but 20 million a movie, and I'm paying you $2 million, you gonna be, because that's all you doing.
That's a fact.
Then Leo ain't a dude that his agent got to go get the work for him. They coming to him. So that agent just sitting back like, yeah. Hey, Leo, you want to do this movie? Okay, we got you. Bam.
That's a fact. You gonna get your ass. You gonna get your busy ass out. You gonna drive me over here to the Comedy Store. You gonna drive me to Saddle Ranch. You gonna drive me. I don't care if it's 3 doors down. We getting in your car. We gonna drive over there.
I said, man, I get it though. You know, like I'm like, cause man, I'm like, cause here's the most. They don't. Well, when you're with a big agency, they have a whole team of different departments. But what I'm saying is the agent though don't necessarily do all the contracting. It's their entertainment lawyers. You know what I'm saying? So there's this whole system you got to leave, and that's what you got. So you got a publicist, entertainment lawyers, you got agent and managers. You're paying all of them. Publicists, you shelling out about $5,000 to $10,000 if you really want a good reputable publicist. There are some that's a little bit cheaper. Per month, and then on top of that, taxes. I'm just like, you have to be making huge money as a star to even reap real good benefits of the money. It's like, other than that, you saving as much as you can because you don't know what the fuck gonna happen next.
Right. So when you look at that, you're getting 20 a movie, but you paying out maybe 10 of that to all the stuff you just named, and then there's taxes on top of that. So you might only be walking away with $5 million. You know, I know people like but only $5 million, like still though, bro, was supposed to be 2025. That's gone.
Yeah, man. You do after the taxes. Well, you know, they got all kind of tax write-offs that they can do. You know, and if they really business savvy, they don't have to pay taxes at all if they
know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't no math like that Hollywood math, bro. They make money disappear, don't they?
Man, like easy. It's all business gurus, because you know that's what Hollywood is. It's just one gigantic guru. It's just everybody. It's so insane. Like people don't even know the amount of money that floats around in Hollywood. You don't even know half of the people that's super rich. Like you don't hear about them. They ain't made the biggest movie, but they floating through. I was at So, you know, I did background work for Burns' show.
Yeah.
I did background work for Chris D'Elia's show. I went to a couple more, I forgot. But anyway, like there was one producer, bro, when I tell you he was doing an episode of each of these sitcoms, I would be like, this nigga's on every. I said, and nobody knows this guy. But this guy, man, he's got to be worth millions. He's worth millions. And I was like, who the fuck? Every time I say, who is this guy? So it's insane the names that you never hear. That's just in the business, and the cameraman and all the people, they hop from show. You're like, these motherfuckers making so much money.
That's the Hollywood game. And it's funny because you're talking about a guy that you couldn't pick out in a lineup, right? No one knows who this dude is, but he's getting anywhere between 800,000 and 1.5, maybe 2 million per episode. And you're telling me like I'm on 3 or 4 different sets, and I see the same dude. He's doing 3 or 4 different episodes. Do the math, y'all.
And the crazy part, the only reason I remember because he was black.
Wow.
I was like, who the fuck is this? I said, this dude is, and they was like, yeah, this episode is by him. Because like what they do is they do this whole, when they do the live taping, they introduce who was the producer of that episode to the fans.
They all come out and everybody's clapping. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, bro, this episode is produced by, and I'm like, this dude is bouncing from show. I'm like, who is this dude? But people just don't know.
They just don't know. Now, with all of
they in.
Like you all the way in.
Yeah.
So with all this knowledge, right? And we've been in the game a long time, bro. You really been, I'm in the trenches, but I'll go back to the rear with the gear. You've been at the front the whole time. How many years you been in the game, bro?
I'm gonna say since I really started. You talking about as a comedian, or you talking about
as a comedian? The whole 9, day one to now.
I'm gonna say about. I moved in 2000. I did open mic there about 2000, 2001. So I was in and out with it. I wasn't really doing it. So I would say I really started committing around 03, 04. So it'd be about almost either 20 years, 21 years, something like that.
21 years in the game, in the front, in the trenches, at the front, the whole time.
Right.
All this knowledge. So what are you going to do with all this knowledge now, bro? And I'm talking about how you're going to move your career forward. And do you believe, because like you said, it's all about time. I guess what I'm asking you now, Doc, is now your time?
Yeah, I would say it is. I would say, but it's like a crescendo of things, right? It just builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden it's like an explosion. George Carlin said this about his material, and this transcends. Actually, a good book. Let me show you right here.
All right.
Yeah, last words, Jay. Yeah, George Carlin. But anyway, in this book,
I'm gonna check that out.
Well, no, I wasn't in this book. Wait a minute, that was actually in the interview, but I forgot it wasn't in this book. But it's in the interview. I thought it was in this book, but now that I think about it, my bad, y'all. I lied. So y'all see what I'm about to say, and then y'all read the shit and be like, man, dude just be talking. little ass nigga be. No, he said that his material was similar to volcanic eruptions. He said nobody knows what's going on beneath the surface of the earth when it all was taking place. He said all of a sudden you just see an explosion, like bang, bang. And he said that's what his comedy specials is like. You don't see what he brewing up, and then when he dropped the special, it's like a bah. It's like, yeah, that's how it goes, even through Hollywood, from stars to everybody. People are like, oh, that's a new person, but you're like, no, they've been around. You just don't know. They slowly, little by little, it just snowballs, and then all of a sudden. But the problem is you don't know. Caparillo, back in 03, actually, before I started working at the store, 04, did the mic. Bomb something vicious. You know how it was bombing in the mic then.
Yes, sir.
You wouldn't come back for about 3 weeks.
You lose your soul. You lose your soul when you bomb back then.
It's a comedy story. You know what I'm saying? And your expectations. Let me get back to center here. Your expectation of what you want to do don't cross over when you step on that stage. Sometimes I used to forget my set. I don't know if you remember that, when I would forget my set and just walk off.
Like, oh no, I forgot my damn set.
I know that, man. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Just leave.
And we laughing like, was that for real? Was that the set? Like, did he, we thinking like brilliant. He's brilliant. Like, no, I really forgot, dog.
I really forgot. I was up there like, God damn, I done blacked out. The pressure, man.
Do it all the time, bro. I do it to this day. Like, God, I can't remember.
No more, but I do forget a joke or two here and there.
Yeah, but we got material to fall back on. I'll be like trying to work some new stuff and then draw a blank. And then I'll just go into
that's what happens. Yeah. Every time you're like, God damn, I forgot how that was supposed to go. All right. Anyway, let me jump in this A material right quick.
Right. Yeah, right.
That's all you can do.
So Caparillo.
I bomb. I'm mad. He see I'm angry. I'm gonna get off stage, and he pulls me to the side because Cap didn't like to talk to nobody.
Sure didn't.
Yeah, so he grabbed me. He said, "Doc, come here for a second." He don't talk to me now because I made him mad with something I said on Triple E's podcast. We'll get into that later too.
Because that's my dude. Yeah. All my guys. You know what I mean?
But anyway, he was like, he said, "Come here, man." He said, "Doc, I just want to tell you this because I see you getting mad when you coming off the stage." He said, "You're not gonna understand this now, but you will one day." He said, "So just listen, just hear me out." He said, "This is you, and this is your material. And every time you go on stage, it's like a slow fusion. You slowly get close to who you want to be, how you want to present your jokes, and close to being exactly the comedian you are inside." He said, "But sometimes you get on stage and you feel it. Sometimes you won't feel it. Sometimes you think you got it and it's there forever, and then it's gone for like 2-3 more years." And then he said, then one day it's like a click. And he said, "I can't explain it." He said, "But when that moment happens," he said, "you'll be so funny that you will be able to take your jokes that you thought was corny back in the day, and you'll bring the old jokes back and you'll make that funny." He said, "It's the weirdest thing, and everything will just start going in motion." And then I said, man, I'm trying to figure that out. And he said, no. He said, "You can't figure it out, Doc." He said, "The problem with it is this. For some people, it take 5, some people would take 15, and some people would take longer than that." He said, "Man, you just got to be in it for it to when it happens." He said, "That's the only thing I can tell you, man." He said, "It might be a long time." He said, "But you just gotta stick." He said, "Because you got it. That's the only reason why I'm pulling you to the side." And I said, "Oh shit, man." So I just, I ain't gonna have no kids. I ain't never been married. So that's been the game for me. Just be consistent at it. And then when my mother passed away in 2017, that was like her last words. She got to see me do that movie for Netflix. And she was like, "You keep going. Whatever you do, just keep going." So that's where I am. I'm like, I might as well. Got no kid or no wife.
Right. Woo! Yeah. Not yet.
Ooh, that tear right there.
Nah, don't worry about that, bro. Trust me when I tell you. Trust me when you tell you the grass is definitely greener on your side. I ain't never been married, but I got kids. I'm here to tell you, bro.
Oh,
the grass is greener with respect to the other stuff that comes with it. Like if you got a wife and you got a family, then that's money. That's golden. But if you got a baby mama and you got babies,
boy. My cousin got 5. He was telling me the other day, he said, "Man, you lucky, man." He said, "No, Doc, you blessed." Because I was like, man, I can't, because I wanted to, I didn't know my mother was nobody knew that she was going to get cancer and pass away. So, right. I was like, man, I ain't never get her no grandkids or nothing. I was feeling kind of down about that. But, my life and the way I move out here and trying to get this going, it's rough, bro. I've had them like me for a minute and then be like, "Oh, you ain't really making no money, huh? See right. ya." I'm like, deuces. All right. Yeah, deuces. All right, take care of yourself. God bless.
Where Nino Brown say, "See you," wouldn't want to be.
Exactly.
But you know what? It all goes to the sacrifices that artists make for their craft. Actors, comedians, magicians, whoever, people, doctors, engineers. People make sacrifices, man, and you have to make some pretty big sacrifices. You sacrifice family. It's going to come, though. You know what I mean? Because as soon as the money comes, you can't get away from it. And the fact that John Caparillo back then took time out to actually talk to you, that says a lot about you as a comic, bro, because I'm here to tell you, bro, like you said, he don't talk to nobody. So for him to do that, that just lets you know, bro, you had it from the beginning. You just have to keep working it like you're doing. So let me ask you, because you've spent so much time around the Comedy Store and other places, man, bro, you got to give me some stories we can't talk about. Like maybe give me a Paul Mooney story, bro. You have to have some.
Paul Mooney.
Or is that a tough one? I can give you a few names. You know what I mean?
because Paul, I mean, nothing really pop off at the store with Paul. He just come and he performed, and uh,
Well,
that
let's
was
do
it.
this.
You
Well,
know
let's
what I
do
mean?
this.
So I just encountered everybody, talked to everybody, because I worked the parking lot. So
Perfect place
I
to
parked
be.
every star came through that motherfucker, man.
You sure did.
Remember when Dave Chappelle came back from Africa? Because you was around that time, right?
I think I was in Miami.
You was oh man, yeah. And he did his first show was at the Comedy Store.
Oh, that had to be a madhouse.
Man, they put me on the front door, nigga.
No security. No security.
No security.
Oh, you had the hood and Hollywood there. Everybody trying to
bring me a clipboard, and they was like, okay, these are all the people that's coming through the door. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Bruce Willis, John Singleton, Gabriel Union. I'm like, what? Leonardo. It was just like, bruh, mayhem at the front door. I'm the only one that's trying to keep all these people. And plus it was Chappelle. It was just like, and speaking on Al Madrigal, that's how Al Madrigal got on the road with him for like 6 months straight, because they needed somebody to open for Dave there. Mm-hmm. And Al went up and ripped that bitch. And it was just pure chaos. And I forgot why I was telling you this story.
Because I was asking you for a story. Like, so it was pure chaos. Because I was going to ask you about when comedians hold court, like when Rogan would hold court in the parking lot and people just talking. Nothing crazy. Just, to me, that's my favorite part about being a comedian and being a comedy store comedian, because so many times I was a fly on the wall. Like, I'm just standing right there, and I'm just listening.
The coolest for me on the parking lot, like how you say everybody used to corral. This is crazy, because they're not like, hey, little guy, get away, beat it. I'm just standing there. I open up. Chris gets out the car. Chris Rock. Chappelle pulls up. They start talking. Damon Wayans comes from upstairs out of the belly room. They come to the parking lot. And it's just like all of us there. And we just like, and I'm just like listening to everybody talk like, this is fucking all right, nigga. This is, hey, man, that's one of them, man. You know what I'm saying? It's one more star. I just can't remember. It was like 4 or 5 of them. And they were all right there. And we was all right there. And I'm just standing in the parking lot like, well, fellas, I got to park these cars, y'all. But I just was like, I ain't even gonna lie. I just said, I'm not parking nothing. I'm gonna sit right here and just marvel in this. This was just like, for me, it was like, this, you can't get no better than this shit right here. One of the most beautiful scenes. And I think, matter of fact, both of the brothers too, Sean and Marlon. And so it was like all of them at the back door. And I was like, this is crazy. In the little parking lot right there.
So you got Damon, Sean, Marlon, Chris Rock,
Chappelle.
Chappelle. Was Tony there?
No, Tony wasn't there.
So Tony went there. I would have been like, if you had both Rock brothers, that would have been crazy. But Tony was always
had them both together. Well, you know that at the store.
Yeah,
but together with me, you know.
Yeah, because Tony was always down to Laugh Factory anyway. But
so weird. Chris would never speak to me, but Tony would always speak to me.
Word?
Chris is like, he's like really shy and quiet.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Chris, but I've heard from other people that he did them like that too. And they knew him. People that know him. So I don't know if that's just like a defense mechanism for him, or to keep people from trying to get close to him. But he would just like literally. I walk up, Tone see me. Hey, what up, boy? You going up? Woo, woo, woo. Chris is standing right there next to him. Chris just looked at me and turned away like that. like I was and I was like, oh, okay, then that's all right.
I guess you want your alone time. No problem. And here's the thing too. And people don't understand is y'all see how Doc is right here, man. He ain't take it personal. Yeah, it's the game.
Nah, because it's I'm one of those dudes that never do like taking pictures. I never ask for autograph. Man, this might sound cocky, but I was like, nigga, I'm a star too. In my heart, You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
Like,
for
for
me,
real.
my heart, like I said, I don't want y'all out there like, you should have got a picture, nigga. But I just was like, and plus I just wanted to treat people like people. You know what I'm saying? Whether they the biggest stars or not. Now, I try to have the respect that I needed to have for them for the club's sake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
You're a
there's
representative.
yeah, man. Like that whole Chappelle thing, man. Well, man, Bruce Willis, man. Can I tell this one, man?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Like Bruce ain't no comic.
This is the
Go
same
ahead.
Chappelle show since we already, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Anthony Anderson comes in. He starts talking to somebody on the side of me. I say, Anthony, when there's tons of fans out here out the door, I'm trying to keep everybody, man, it's his man. So all of a sudden, man, when I tell you this is probably the biggest white boy I ever seen in my life, he had to be about anywhere from 6'10" to about 10'2". I mean, this was. I said, man, so I wasn't paying attention, and then like I felt like an eclipse a little bit, like a shadow, kind of like, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck? And then I turned around, he tapped me, he go, hey, clear this door, 2 minutes, Bruce Willis. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I said, oh shit. So I had to, because it was the Chappelle thing. So I'm talking, I don't know, maybe even a couple thousand of people just wanting to get in outside.
Just outside on Sunset,
Outside.
1,000 people out there.
Damn. Yeah. Matter of fact, one dude, he come to me, hey, that's $5,000. Get me in there. I said, I can't do it, man. He said, man, come on, you ain't gonna take this $5,000. I said, nah, man, I can't take this money. He said, all right, that's 10 grand right there. He said, get me in the room. And I said, man, nah, man. I said, listen, I don't know who you are. You got money, but I can't let you in. He said, man, I want to be in there, man. You got to get me in. Blah, 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 blah. I said, man, I can't, man. Listen, this and that. Nigga, Gabrielle Union walks up. He looks, he goes, Gabrielle. She looks at him, come with me. And then I say, and then he says, see, I told you I'm somebody. I said, God damn, I should have took the 10 grand.
Exactly. You should have took the 10 grand.
But you know, it was past fire marshal. It was like the fire. And them niggas was inside too that day. It's wall to wall, and the fire marshals is lined up in the back, like all these firemen, because it was a big deal when Chappelle first came back. So anyway, all of a sudden, 2 black SUVs pop up, boom, 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 boom. And 8 to 9 big, tall, man, I'm talking every dude was 6'9" and higher. Like they all lined up. And then Bruce, they opened the door and Bruce hopped out, ran through between them. Nobody could see him because of the big, tall ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? It was dope. It was like, I was like, oh, okay, that's how you doing it, Bruce? And then I was like, come on, Bruce. I said, I got your seat for you. So I took him, sat him down, cut chase, show's over. There's still like these young kid fans, bunch of them outside the door. So now all the stars are coming out my door. So these kids are going crazy, dude. They're like, oh my God, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Gabrielle, John Single. They going crazy. So it starts dying down. They see all these different stars, all these people. And about all of a sudden, I get a tap on my shoulder. It's Bruce Willis's bodyguard. He goes, hey, man, you seen Bruce? And I go, what? I go, yeah. I said, ain't that your job? Like you're supposed to be bodyguard. How do you not know where he is? He said, man, trust me, man, you don't get it. He do this all the time.
Bruce done gave him the slip.
Oh. So then he runs up, another bodyguard come. They like, man, you ain't seen him. I said, no. I said, all of y'all lost him? I said, it's like 8, 9 of y'all.
I'm surprised you.
He said, he do this on purpose, man. And I said, man, you tripping. Dude, 5 minutes later, Bruce come walking up to me by himself. And I'm like, man, Bruce. I'm like, man, your bodyguard's looking for you. And I said, hey, Bruce, hold up, man. You can't be at the front door because, man, before I could even say anything, the kids turned and they saw him. One of them yelled, Bruce Willis. Man, and when I tell you, everybody from that was outside on that patio, all on the side of the street, rushed me. I had to grab Bruce and I threw him in back of me and I had to block him in the corner. And I was like, man, come on. I said, man, hey, please don't do this, man. I said, hey, then man, when I tell you, man, these is grown dudes, man, crying. Hey, please don't do it. I don't want to touch him, man. Just this shirt, man. I said, man, are you fucking kidding? Dude, are you crying, bro? I'm like, what the fuck is this? Man, the most insane shit. And man, and then the girls was crying, and I was like, I never seen no shit like for Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know people like go crazy over Bruce like that. You know what I'm saying? So I turned to Bruce and I said, damn, Bruce, what do you want me to do? Look at these motherfuckers is crying. Like literally, I told him that. And then he looked at me, he said, let him in. I go, what? What? He said, let everybody in. And I go, fuck. I said, fuck it. So I just moved up where they go, ah! They start taking pictures and everybody, boom, boom, boom. Then like the guards, you just see all the guards run around the corner like a goddamn Tom and Jerry cartoon, like motherfuckers come bend in the corner. I'm like, get your goofy asses down here and save this dude. It's like, but he took a picture with a lot of them, man, and they was like, man. And then the guards came and they started pulling the people off of them and separating them and this and that. Then SUVs pulled up, boom, they got and jumped into SUVs and pulled off. But that was the coolest shit, man. He let them all. He told me to move out the way. I was like, because they could just trample me. It was nothing I could do, but they just respected me. They didn't. And that was cool to see that.
That story is fire, man. I gotta give you Donnie Marco for that. That story is fire, bro. Yeah. I got some good Hollywood stories, but I ain't got nothing that can even approach that, bro. Nothing. Yeah, man, grown men crying, grown men
crying. Like they weren't too old, but they were like 25, 26. You know, it was kids that, because matter of fact, three of the dudes, younger dudes, I just call them kids because I'm older now, but I was like they same age damn near. Right. But they knew Gabrielle Union. So when she came out after Bruce left, they were still waiting to see if any more stars come out. And then one of the kids was like, Gabrielle? And then she turned, he goes, hey! And then he was like, UCLA, yeah, because they went to college together. They were all like, yeah, remember when? And I was like, oh shit, this is cool. I was like, this motherfucker got a bonus on top of a bonus. So they started talking about the class and the teacher that they had together and all this. And I'm just sitting there looking like, okay, all goofy and shit.
I tell folks, man, most of the A-listers are cool. Like that I've encountered. Just personal experience. I've never come across a true A-lister that was like an asshole. Personally, I know there's some out there, but I never came across. It's those B and C-list actors that are like, bro, I don't
know if he's an asshole, but Vince Vaughn, I got some stories about Vince.
I never had any issues with Vince, but I was cool with me. But seeing what was going on.
Can I tell this one?
Nah, we ain't gonna talk about Vince. That's my people. We say that for the Patreon. We ain't gonna talk about Vince.
All right, man. I gotta put all right, man.
That's my people. But I tell you this though, I do want to ask you this. I want to ask you this because I wasn't in Hollywood when this happened. The slap. When Will Smith did what he did, what happened in the comedy world, bro? What happened in the streets, man?
Oh, you already know, man. It was rage. There was anger. There was every comic had something bad to say about Will. You know, it just didn't look good for Will. You know, man, like when people, that's why I get mad when he did the special and people were like, oh, well, he needs to get over that, what Will did to him. And I'm like, they don't understand the magnitude of what happened. Right. They don't have no idea. So I'm gonna clear this up for y'all that's watching right now. How many of, what is it, 3 now? How many of you?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 of us, man. It's cool. It's cool. It's gonna grow though, because trust me, we do the clips. We put this out here, bro. It's gonna grow. I'm about to give you a one shot to tell this one right here. So I want everybody to get the full force. Here we go.
I forgot what I was saying. Come back to the screen so I remember.
You can't go. You got to go to your A material. We're talking about the slap, and people didn't understand what that really meant to the comedy world and to the acting world.
Okay, so this is what everybody don't realize. Chris is not an international superstar. Never was. People think he was because he was in movies with Eddie Murphy and all them, but he was not like that. he could sell out doing his stand-up in the UK or Australia, but as like internationally known, Chris can go to many countries and nobody know who he is. Will Smith is internationally famous. That nigga made Chris internationally famous.
With that one,
with one fucking pow. Like, can you imagine? Every airport now Chris stepped out on. Man, I was, you know how I be looking at the little chicks on Instagram and the Instagram models, and then I was looking at some little chick in Dominican Republic, right? And she put up a funny meme, but the meme had Will slapping Chris Rock, and I'm like, God damn, this is crazy. Like this, I'm like, you don't even know. I'm like, every fucking place that dude go from now on, China, Russia, wherever he goes, you the guy Will slap. Man, that's fucking, they don't know him for his comedy. They only know he was slapping. Man, that shit, for people to say, get over that, imagine everywhere you go for the next years, for the rest of your life, everywhere you go, every country. Hey, ain't you the guy that got slapped by? Hey, that's the guy that, are you fucking, because it's always going to be somebody new that's going to see you somewhere. He has to, that's the most fucking infuriating shit. And people don't understand that. I'm like, nah, dog, he got slapped by an international superstar. That's the worst shit that you can, man. I said, God damn. So I'm just hoping Chris is coping with it well, man. I don't even know what do you do?
Hollywood owes him one, right? I mean, when I talked about that, matter of fact, me and Ty Barnett jumped on the night it happened. We jumped on this platform, man, and that night we had more than 3 folks. We had a bunch of folks watching this, right? So because everyone was up trying to get information on it, so it was popping, right? So Ty and I both said it was like, all right, Hollywood owes Chris Rock now. They owe him. Hollywood owes him, and well, they're gonna green light some stuff because he didn't go crazy. He didn't. I mean, I don't even think he sued the Academy. I don't think he went in. He was just kind of like, I'm gonna be a G about it.
I mean, it ain't really nothing really Hollywood could do for him. He already rich. He already
but they can green light more projects because it's not about money. It's about, okay, what do you want to do? All right, I want to do this project over here. I want to do that project over there. We're gonna green light the next 10 projects for you.
I feel like he already had that sustainability with Hollywood. It's not.
You think so?
Yeah, Chris could get things greenlit. You know what I mean? He the one who got, well, I mean, even though it was some other issues that was going on with Saturday Night Live, but he the one who got Leslie on Saturday Night Live. He's the one who recommended her to Lauren Mike. You know what I mean? Like Chris ain't no, Chris has certain power, and I don't think that, like Chris is and Chris is like Chappelle. Like they don't really care for Hollywood like that. You know what I'm saying?
So even though Hollywood may feel they owe Chris doesn't care. He's just like, man, whatever.
No, Chris, I mean, the only thing that to me that he probably is concerned about is just the slap, man. Like it's you can't imagine, like, man, just imagine you right now walking out your house. Hey, nigga, ain't you the one that got slapped by Will?
Yeah.
You go to the store. Ain't you the one that got slapped by Will? You go to the mall. Ain't you the one that got slapped by Will? You go to the gas station. Ain't you the one that got?
It's like, nah, I'm really the GOAT. I'm like one of the best comics ever to do it, but you know me as a dude that got slapped by Will Smith. I never thought of it from that point of view.
You have to, like, and that's what everybody, I'm like, y'all don't get it. Like, y'all don't, man, like, you can't get, like, because people haven't seen him, right? So anywhere he goes, a lot of them going to be seeing him for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Vacations with his wife, I mean, his girl and his daughters, wherever he's at, they're going to be like,
that's a great point.
You understand what I'm saying?
From Micronesia,
Will is.
Yeah, from Micronesia to Dubai to Mongolia, Chris Rock's the guy that got smacked by Will Smith.
I don't, man.
It's great. All his accomplishments is like, nope, you're the guy that got smacked the night of the Oscars by Will Smith.
Because they don't know him for nothing else.
Right.
But hit movies, he's not Eddie Murphy.
Right.
know what I'm saying? So worldwide, they don't know Chris like that. The only way they know him now, oh yeah. Oh my God, man.
You gotta get smart. I didn't think of it that way, man.
10
so
years down the road, same questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's
damn.
Fuck, man. Just think about how and Chappelle ain't even world famous where they has him all over the world. It was just in the United States they keep asking him till to this day about the 50 million. Right? He got slapped by Will Smith.
Like, damn.
I'm like, man, fuck. When I saw that, I said, what the fuck is you doing, Will? I'm like, man, you just everybody. I'm like, man.
That was crazy. And then that night, like, so when people were out just doing their thing, was it just kind of like, yo, did you hear what?
Yeah.
Will
all the
Smith,
mics, all the comedy, calls, texts, Instagram, DMs, man.
Everything. Wow.
You know, me and Ian and everybody was talking about it. We just, I don't know. Hey man, I'm just hoping that the world somehow gets amnesia from it.
Oh, we know that ain't gonna happen. It is what it is. Yeah,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's such a shame. You know, like I'm like you. That's like being bullied by the world.
Yeah,
and they not doing it on purpose. It's just that you got slapped, so you reminded of the bullying. Every man.
You're right. You're right, man. Because I didn't think about it. I was just wondering, like, I wonder what it's like to be in Hollywood on that night. And I can imagine just, like the world, they just, the word filters through and people are like, what? Yeah, man.
All these people talking about that shit was staged. I'm like, who would stage something ridiculous like that and not go psych?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Turn around and laugh like, hey, we got you.
Yeah, man. Because so that they could not be what people saw what it was. It didn't go to a psych. It was like, man, somebody say psych. Come on, man, because this ain't good for Chris.
Somebody say psych.
Man.
Oh, somebody say
man.
Psych.
I was waiting for it. I was like, and shit, nobody. I was just like, maybe they're going to come back at midnight. Maybe they're going to come back. Okay, well, maybe the next day they're going to do shit. This ain't a spoof. I'm like, man.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt us. I mean, that hurt. Like that was truly the smack felt around the entertainment world for sure, and it ain't gonna stop. You know what I mean?
It's man, out there. Like Chris. The one thing about him, he is who he is, right? Matter of fact, Matt Claybooks let me know that Chris thought I was funny.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, man, and I didn't know. You know Jade Catapretta. Mm-hmm. She was hosting a mic. Can I tell this story or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a mic story.
Yeah, tell this one. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know what you want me to say.
I don't know them people. Go ahead.
So Jade hosting our potluck, and I'm doing my employee set like usual. So I was getting ready to go up, and Chris was on the side with Matt Claybooks. You know Matt Claybooks, right?
No, just by name only.
So
Matt, I never really kicked it. Yeah.
Matt's a stand-up comic too. Matter of fact, I was just talking the other day. He got a new project he working on once the strike over. You'll hear about it. But anyway, So Matt, he goes with Chris everywhere and jots down notes for Chris while he's on stage.
I've definitely seen dude. I've definitely seen him.
Because Matt is mainly like the only one. It's one other person sometimes come with Chris, but mostly Matt. Matt is always, they tour together. They go and take them on tour with him. Okay, what did I miss? And they go, okay, and you know what I'm saying? So they're over there. I'm getting ready to go up, and I see Chris get up and Matt get up, and they walking out. So I was like, damn, Chris ain't gonna get to see me perform. Me leaving. I said, okay, well, fuck it, then. No matter. So I started doing my set. Had a great set. Get off stage. Jade runs up. She introduced Chris Rock. Crowd go crazy. Ah! So Jade runs to me because I'll try to watch a little bit of set before I had to run back on the parking lot. And she's like, Doc, you won't believe this. Chris went up on stage because he was motivated by you. You motivated him to get on stage. And I was like, what? I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Chris performing all the time. He don't fucking need me. What are you talking about? And she goes, no, Doc, I'm telling you. I said, man, get out of here. Chris don't need me. What are you tripping? So then I went outside. So as I'm parking cars, I see Matt and Chris getting ready to leave. And then I see Matt tap Chris and say, hold up. And he walks to the back and he say, Doc, come here for a second. I said, what up, Matt? He say, man, you need to hear this. I said, Chris think you funny. And I go, what? I said, oh, you know, Jay told me something like this. He said, yeah. He said, man, I was trying to get him to stay. He didn't want to stay. And they said, as soon as they introduce you, he's about to walk out the door, and he stopped and he looked. And then he said, who is this dude? He said, what is he, like Chinese or something like that? I don't know why, man. My eyes look like my eyes. Yeah. So he was like, no, he black. And then he go, oh, okay. And then he said he watched he said, Doc, he laughed your whole set. You made him laugh. And he said, as soon as you was about to close out, he ran over to Tommy and was like, hey, put me up right after him. So I was like, oh, he said, so I want you to know Chris don't do that. And Chris really genuinely thinks you're funny. He said, so you need to know that. And I said, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And then they left. So that's my rock story right there.
That's, man, listen, bro. Listen, you blowing my mind with these stories, man. As long as I've known you, you know, we ain't never sat down and just chopped it up. Whenever we get together, we talking work. We're always talking shop, trying to do this and that or whatever. Or we get distracted by some cuties. But anyway, ain't never had the opportunity to sit down and just chop it up, bro. So we're just gonna wrap this up, man, because I don't want to keep you. I know you tired, you had a long day. Is there anything else that you wanted to throw in there, you know, before we close out?
I'm gonna keep working on my thing, and I ain't got no shows lined up yet. But as soon as I get something lined up, you can go to @DocWillis Comedy on Instagram, because I connect my Facebook and my Instagram. So you don't need to go to Facebook. Just go @DocWillis Comedy. Follow me. And anytime in your town, come see your boy get these jokes off. You know what I'm saying?
Please do that
I don't think I told him I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Did you tell him?
No, I said we were from the Midwest. I didn't know if he was relocation or nothing, man. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna let him tell it. I ain't gonna tell it.
Yeah, I did it so poor in the beginning. See, that's why you be putting me on the spot. I'm getting. Yeah, but yeah, I'm from Detroit, man.
You're from Detroit. I'm from Cincinnati, and that's one of the reasons we clicked right away. When we two, you know what I'm saying, Midwest dudes out in LA, and like we said, man, it's a lot of weirdness out there. So when you see two real dudes, it's like, oh, what's up, man? Oh, what's good, bro?
That,
you know what I mean?
That little four pocket, that Chicago, Cincinnati, Cleveland, five actually. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit, and St. Louis. That whole little something about the guys from them states and cities. It's like we kind of have almost the same machismo. I don't know what to call it, man. It's
we came up the same way. We're the same dudes. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, it's just as lethal in every city. Like South Side Chicago is bad, real bad. But Detroit, man, what's that? Gettysburg, bro.
Bro. Hey, man, Detroit is.
Man.
It gotten better though. We got Bloods and Crips now, D.
Oh, there you go. Moving up in the world.
Yeah. You know, because before they used to kill Bloods and Crips when they would try to come and move in. And now they there. So I'm like, oh, it's getting better. And now I went home, matter of fact, there was white people out there jogging. You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, you see these white people jogging. It's changing, dog.
Because I didn't see that when I was up there visiting my people. And the first time I ever heard AK gunfire outside of a combat zone was in Detroit. First time I'm like, that's an AK right there, bro. And we just came up from the natty. I just got out the army. They were like, what do you think? I'm like, that is an AK-47. Trust me, I know what they sound like. And I'm like, yo, we in the streets. We're supposed to be in a good neighborhood. I'm like, what are they firing over there in the hood then? But it's gotten better.
Yeah, it's gotten better. To me, it has. And, you know, other people might not think so, but I feel like it has.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Brother, I can't thank you enough for coming on here, man, and rocking out with, you know, just me, you, and 4 other people. But it's late. Like, my folks are in bed. I apologize. My folks are in bed.
I didn't even know if it was 4.
No, it got a count. If you look on the top of your screen, it shows you a count of how many people look at any given time when people go in and come out. And my folks don't know. And my folks know. Oh, it does.
All it says is DL Saint. I really want to know podcast, and then my name, and then it just say live. That's it.
That's it. Oh yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. We had a few folks at our peak, but most of my folks asleep. We got Wonderful 34 in the building. This is one. Everyone here is a day one, and this brother right here, man, he supports me so hard, man, with the cash apps and everything. He be coming through, showing the love. Wonderful 34. Thanks for coming through, man. We just wrapping up. We sitting here with my brother Doc, man. We just talking about the comedy world and sharing some of our stories. But you're going to see people catching this in Team Replay. For those of y'all watching this on Team Replay, you know what I mean? Go ahead, comment. You know what I mean? Of course, like, share, and all that good stuff. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to keep bringing this to you on our Really Want to Know podcast, man, because there's so many bubbles out there. And y'all heard some of Doc's stories, only this much. Wait till we get him to come back again. Then it's going to really get crazy. Because I'm going to say, do you, bro? I ain't going to stop you. Tell any story you won't tell. So that's what's up, man. Listen, yo, I'm DL saying this right here is Doc Willis, man, one of the up and coming comics, man. Y'all saw him here first. Make sure y'all get out there and support him. Check out his social medias. You know what I mean? And when he comes to your town, make sure you come check him out, man. And we are done, bro. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thanks for rocking out with us, man. And we gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.